Hey, Shalom, Akim, Shalom. First thing and foremost, I'm going to give all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashim Rakakadash. I'd like to give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings and salutation to the hopeful elect. Those in his gospel brothers and understanding of Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, wherever it may be. Real quick, this is titled, If It Offend Thee, Get Rid of It. If it offends thee, get rid of it, okay? Because you have to understand that anything and everything that's outside of this truth can be a detriment to your salvation and your walk in this faith if you're not careful and if you don't balance it out, okay? Several brothers have been going into lessons about certain things, cutting off certain members. And when I say members, meaning the deeds, and mortifying the deeds of the flesh, mortifying certain particular mind frames, even people, okay? Because oftentimes, offense can come in the form of people, but an offense can come in the way of a thought, you see, because a lot of times when you think it, it often shall be, like the scriptures give you the power of the tongue. When you think about speaking certain things to existence and you dwell on it, then oftentimes, as you heard the statement, that becomes your reality. Okay, it's the same thing when you're inviting people into your life, because we're in the times now that this devil, man, he's really attaching on and he's trying to devour us with everything that he has, man, because, just lately, man, it's been a lot of effort to get these videos out, as they always have been. But lately, it's been real tired and it's been very hard, trying to remember the precepts, trying to remember what way, how to word it, and it's just been a constant struggle in the body, man. Like the scripture said that the flesh is weak, but the spirit is willing. But hey, it won't be called a fight if it was easy, right? So oftentimes it's just attacks from the enemy, from the demonic one, the wicked one, and oftentimes the attacks come in the form of other people, in the form of doubt, okay, disparity, asking yourself, was this the best decision? Could you have done anything to make this situation work, or what have you done that destroyed it, etc. But you got to stay focused on the fight, because ultimately, whatever is not for you is not for you, and whatever is for you is for you. And when you think about it that way, it makes it a little easier to navigate, okay? So I wanted to go into the book of Mark, the 9th chapter. This is a very heavy chapter, okay? Because oftentimes we need to mortify deeds of our bodies or people that surround us. They oftentimes have to be cut off, because if they're not cut off, it can become cancerous and it can affect your growth in your walk. Because you're constantly dwelling on the what ifs. What could I have done to make it better? What could I have said? What could I have said? What should I have done to make this a more probable situation? And it could be in the form of a job. It could be family. It could be children. It could be women. Like, women is a big thing, in this thing. A lot of brothers, hell comes from women, okay? And oftentimes, a lot of times if it's not good for your spirit, you got to cut it off. And that's probably one of the hardest things to do, is cut off women, because as men, we're deprived of any type of love and affection in this world, okay? And the love and affection that we do have, it's temporal and it's not always genuine, okay? It's a pat on the back, it's a smooth voice, it may be a meal here, meal there, but it's nothing really that's fulfilling the spirit, okay? Because you're gonna always come up short at the end of the day, because people have other obligations to attend to, and not you. You see, and you have to understand that and come to grips with that this is not our world. All right. So this is the book of Mark 9:42. And it says, and whosoever shall offend one of these little ones that believe in me, we're the little ones. Okay. We believe on Yahweh Shai. Okay. Not the people of this world. They don't believe on Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, but they believe in their own selves. They believe in their own belly. They believe in their own abilities. They believe in the ability of Esau, Edom, and the type of delicacies he allows them to have in his kingdom. All right. And it says, it is better for him that a millstone were hanged about his neck and he were cast into the sea. Because honestly, brothers, we're greatly offended in this place. Okay. We are greatly offended in the way that this world works. We're greatly offended in family. We're greatly offended in women. We're greatly offended in friends of the world. Because all these things are an offense, because we understand how things is supposed to be put in the proper order, and how things work and how they're supposed to navigate, okay? But oftentimes that word or that particular way of life isn't forwarded in this society, because this is the way of the wicked, okay? the scriptures say that the earth is given over to the hands of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges, man. So our way is basically Esau's way of the highway. So we're basically affording a word or a particular lifestyle in a life that doesn't necessarily wants it or requires it. Okay, and this is the reason why they demonize us. This is the reason why we're called terrorists. This is the reason why we're called hate group or extremists, because we understand the ways of life and what it entails. You see? But it says here, better for him that a millstone will hang about his neck, and he was cast into the sea. So it's better for that, man. It's better for you to just kill yourself, man. Because if you offend the prophet of the Most High, whether you believe it or not, it could be from the smallest things. Hey, the Lord just writ you a death sentence, man. Basically, it's like kill yourself. You see? But people, they don't understand it. They don't look at it that way. They don't look at it that they're being offensive to us. They look at it like, well, you guys are just not what we're looking for. Well, the way you're speaking or what you require is just not what I'm after at this time. So, therefore, hey, sayonara, you know. And certain people, they may not genuinely mean to offend you. But even then, their way of life is more important than what you're teaching, which is offensive by default, because we know that the ways of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai is ultimate supreme. So that's offensive in itself. You know, a person might not be out to deliberately get you or harm you, but the fact that they written you off because of what you about, that's just as offensive. You see? And that's bad on them. That's their problem. Okay? And that's bad on their behalf of it because they didn't see the light. All right? And it says, if thy hand offend thee, cut it off. It says, it is better for thee to enter to the life maimed than to have two hands than go into hell, right? Because if you look at a hand, that's a very essential part of the body, okay? You need your hands to put forth work, okay? You need them to build. You need them to teach. You need them. The hands is very important. It's a very important part of the body. You see what I'm saying? Because without your hands, you pretty much handicapped. That's the whole term, handicap. Okay, what's the root word of a handicap? Hand. You know what I'm saying? So a hand is very important. So, hey, if your hands are offending you, and it's not literally talking about cutting your hand off, but this could be something important in your life, something that gets you from day to day. This could be a job, or this can be a business, or this can be a woman that you was completely compassionate about. Okay, but if that hand is offending you, then hey, don't deal with it, man. You got to do away with it. Why? Because ultimately it's not good for you. You know, like, hey, they say if you amputate a hand or a leg, all the time you stop the cancer from going to the other foot, because usually cancers travel. So you got to cut off the point of travel. Okay. And it's the same thing with people in your life. You see what I'm saying? If you got a woman that's wicked as hell, or you got a woman that's solely about her career and her life and, you know, the ways of the world, and that's offending you in this walk, then you might have to get rid of that, man. No matter how much you want to hold on to it, or how much you decided that, oh, no, look, you know, I could have done things differently in order to get this result. But ask yourself, is that true? If you went in the ways of the world to get the result you were looking for, would have worked out then? No, probably not. All right. So it says it's better for thee to enter into life maimed than to having two hands that go into hell, because oftentimes these things will cast you out of the truth, man. Okay. Because what happens is it starts to consume your mind, your thought process. Okay. It consumes your way of being. And before you know it, you focusing more on this than in the spirit of the Lord, man. Okay. And it says here, into the fire that should never be quenched. It says, where their worm dieth not, and the fire is not quenched, which that's parabolic, man, okay? Going into destruction. Because, hey, you want to do whatever you can to be written in the book of life. And anything that's controversy to the book of life, and that's getting in the way of your thought process of being positive about the truth, then it's time to let it go, man, okay? And it says that if thy foot offend thee, cut it off. It is better for thee to enter halt into life than to have 2 feet to be cast into hell, the fire that should never be quenched, okay? Where they worm dieth not, and the fire is not quenched, okay? Like a job. It could be a business you own. You could be making a lot of money on this business, man. It could be something you've labored day and night to get rich, which the scriptures goes into that in the book of Sirach. You know, it goes into a man that labor much without sleep to obtain riches. But overall speaking, if that is coming in between you and Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, you got to downgrade that, man. You got to put some balance on it. Because we're not saying it's wrong to own a business. We're not saying that it's wrong to have a wife or children. Okay, these are part of the walk. This is the certain brothers' lots in this truth. They're going to have these things because that's the way that the Lord set it up. But certain men are required to be without so they focus could be more on this truth, because every man have not the same strength and weaknesses, you see. And it says here, if they so it says, where their worm dieth not and the fire is not quenched, and if thy eye offend thee, pluck it out, for it is better for thee to enter into the kingdom of the Most High with one eye than having two eyes to be cast in fire, right? So scriptures say keep your eyes single, focus on the prize, man. Seek ye the good, the kingdom of heaven and all its righteousness, then all should be restored unto you, man. Because you had brothers that fell out this truth over family, man, over parents, over children, over women, over money, over business. You name it, it happened. Okay, and women is a big one on why brothers get weak. They get depressed. Their woman is not moving the way that they feel they should move. They get depressed. Before you know it, you are already out of the truth, man. Because in the back of your mind, you pondering on what could I have done to make it work. Fuck all that, man. Okay, because if you serving the Lord and you ultimately putting down the law, statutes, and commandments, and you trying to tell your family this is what you live by, you've done your job. Now, of course, every man has his certain requirements and marriages and so forth like that. Like the scriptures tell you, man, you know, the thing between a man and woman, let nobody cast asunder. You know, so you may have certain requirements for your wife that may be very scrutinized. You can be very meticulous on how you want things. You may not want her to deal with other men. Of course, you don't. You know, you might not want her to converse with other men. In this society, that's kind of hard, but you got to have a case-by-case basis. You know, is it business related or is it just small talk? Certain men don't allow that small talk with the other sex, and she may find that a problem. Okay, as petty as that may seem, that can be a detriment to your walk, because that can overly offend you if you're adamant about that. You know, and she may look at it like, man, you being petty, you nitpicking. But it ain't nitpicking, because it highly make you feel some type of way. But if you dwell on it, then the Lord can get rid of you over that, man. You know, because they may look at it like, are you nitpicking, you tripping? And you may think about like, damn, am I tripping? I may be tripping, shit. Let me fall back and let me examine myself. Let me assess the whole matter and ask myself, why do I think like this? And give it a second thought. Then, you know, if you are bugging out, then, hey, you know, go back and retry it. See what happens. But overall, if it's offending your spirit and you know that nothing good could come from it, you got to get rid of it, man. Okay? And sometimes it sucks for you to get rid of more important shit for petty shit, man. Important things for petty things, man. Prime example, right? You may have a good-ass paying job. You may like the job, but the petty part about it is you can't work on the weekends because you got to be out at the camp. Hey, this may be a lucrative job, and you like, you know what? Fuck it. I can't do it. You know, like I had to turn down this one job I actually wanted to do because they was like, well, we own you. And when they said that, that shit didn't sit right with my spirit. But I've always kind of wanted to do it because, you know, my pops did it. You know what I'm saying? It was good money. Benefits are good. And, you know, they need people. And it's, I mean, the hardest thing about it is dealing with people. Driving ain't shit, you know. But I had to think about it. 2 jobs, actually, I wanted. Pretty straightforward. I had to turn them both down. I had an interview for them both the same day. And they both was giving me fucked up schedules, man. I was like, I can't do it. You know, so I had to stick with what I'm doing now. Which what I'm doing now is not overly bad. It's not too bad. But it's just honestly a place that I don't really foresee myself in the immediate future. You know, because me, honestly speaking, I get tired of shit quick when things rub me the wrong way. When I feel like I don't have how can I say, when I feel like that I'm not, how can I say it without sounding like a fucking bigot or selfish? I don't want to sound that way, so I have to put it in proper terms. If I just feel like that I'm not being grounded, if I'm not grounded, or if this is just not, I'm not feeling the vibe, so to speak, then oftentimes I try to find my way out of it, you know, but I make it work for me as long as I can. You know what I'm saying? And you just got to ride it out. But case in point, you know, if it could be something like that, you may have to get rid of it, man. Okay? Prime example. Hey, you may be into certain vehicles. You may be into sports. You know, you may be a good singer. And if that's going to conflict with the work of the Lord, you may not be able to do it, man. Okay? Because, hey, that's part of us. That's what we, that was part of our being. And that's what the scriptures are saying. And it says here, for everyone shall be salted with fire, and every sacrifice should be salted with salt. It says salt is good, but if the salt have lost its saltness, wherewith ye season it? Right, man. So, hey, man, we got to be tried, and we will be tried. Okay? And it says, so have salt in yourselves and have peace with one another. Because ultimately, brothers, man, yeah, it sucks at the present time. It may hurt, it may burn, it may sting. But you got to understand, brother, if you have good foresight, and I have to remind myself this all the time, because the closer we're getting Satan is attacking more and more and more, man. Okay, you feel him. You know he's in the midst. You know he's playing on your emotions through other people. You know he's setting other people up to do things you don't like, to get your focus on what you need. Then it fucks with your confidence. Then it fucks with your ability to focus on the truth. Then you start forgetting precepts. Then you start asking yourself, damn, am I on a level that I should be? It just, you fall into that mind of despair. And when you fall into that mindset, that's when Satan got you. And I know by experience, because I've been there, man. I've been there. I'm going through it now. You know what I'm saying? Constantly in a war with myself. Am I good enough? Am I up enough? Am I on a level that I should be as a head of account? Am I attending to my men? How do I do it? It's like a trial by error, man. Constantly, day by day. Like Satan come and he messes with you for a season. I'm dealing with this nigga 362 and a half days a year. It's 7 days in a week. I'm dealing with this nigga 6 3/4 of a quarter, 6 3/4 of a day. 6 days and 3/4 of that day. And that's the spirit 144. Call lawyer, how about you, how was shy, man? That's the spirit pulled up right in front of me, man. Right there, that's the hope, man. Damn, that just put fire in me, man. Cause I ain't gonna lie, I was just feeling a little down, a little beat up earlier. You know, I didn't do my transit this morning. I just didn't have nothing to talk about. I just wasn't in the spirit. And I was beating myself up. I'm like, man, you got to do a show, bro. You got to get in the spirit. And I remember what the elder D-Mass said. He said, look, the Lord going to put you through tests, even when you feel like the spirit ain't know you, when you ain't in the spirit. The Lord want to see you fight without that, man. The Lord want to see you fight in a handicap situation to see if you're going to keep pushing, you know? And that's the spirit, man. That car with 144 just pulled up, man. I was like, well, that's the Lord, man. It shows you that he's dealing. So Satan, man, he ain't got no power over us, brothers. It's all mental. It's all mental, man. And if you focus on the wicked shit and you focus on what hurts you, you were deprived by it, man. You constantly going back and forth. You're feeding into that spirit is gonna constantly depress you, man. Okay, and we got to be better than that, you know, because hey, like I said, we too close to the end. Hey, what the Lord tell him? He said, look, Peter. He said, hey, look, Satan desired to sift you as wheat. So when this man sees this being sees a flaw in your armor, he's going to expose it, man. Okay? Just like if you a boxer and you in the ring. If you know that you breaking a man's ribs, why not continue to go for that particular spot? Okay? It's called strategic planning or tactical warfare. If I know that I close this man's left eye, I'm going to keep throwing that left jab, that right crossover to fuck with that eye, man, so I can get him out of here. And that's the same way with Satan. All right? So you got to be mindful and really pay attention to the signs, man. Okay, don't let this world, these people, these women ultimately get to you, man, because it will play on your flesh and your emotions if you let it, especially if you was involved, if you was deeply involved in it. You may feel like you're losing. You may feel lost. You may feel like, damn, I could have made it work out with my woman if we just would have thought about it this way. If I would have thought about it this way, maybe I shouldn't have tripped so hard. Maybe I shouldn't have been so uptight. Maybe I shouldn't have been so, on top of her heels. Maybe I should have gave her a little breathing room type shit. You know what I'm saying? And you think it'll play on your emotions, but when you ask yourself, why were you the way you were with the particular individual or work or whatever it may be, you had your reasoning for it. And when you make your reasoning make sense, and it makes sense, then it ain't really nothing that you need to be complaining about. It ain't nothing that you have to regret, okay? Because ultimately, they didn't play ball with it, man. Okay? And it's not your problem. So let it be done, okay? One last precept here. This is the book of 1 John 2, and I'm gonna start at let's start. Yep, this whole chapter is good. Let's start at verses 12. It says, I write unto you, little children, because your sins are forgiven you for his name's sake, Nate. Okay, the name of Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai. That's the name we call on, not no freaking Christ, man. Like this what you call this behemoth by the name of Mahayim. And what's General Mahayim? Something from the ISUPK. This dude talking about all the people that came out of Egypt were Israelites. That's not true, man. Okay, that strange multitude that came out with us was Hamites, man. Were Egyptians. Because remember, before we were given the commandments, remember that a lot of Israelite women laid down with Hamitic men and brought them into the wilderness as well. Okay, with great substance. That's why the Lord told us to kill them and take what was theirs, because they wasn't going into the promised land, man. Okay, and then he's saying Jesus Christ. But you call yourselves Hebrew Israelites. But it says here, I write unto you fathers, because ye have known him that is from the beginning. And I write unto you young men, because ye have overcome the wicked one. Okay, the wicked one, who is that? Satan. I write unto you, little children, because ye have known the Father. And I've written it to you, fathers, because ye have known him that is from the beginning. And I've written it to you, young men, because ye are strong, and the word of Yahweh abided in you, and ye have overcome the wicked one. So keep that in mind, man. This is about overcoming, brother. So it's not going to be easy. All right? It's not going to be easy at all. This is going to be a very, very hard trial, and it's going to be very lucrative at the end game. All right? That's why it's going to get harder, man. It's going to constantly get harder. More attacks, more demonic attacks, more people coming against you. That's why we got to pray more, fast more, read more, be more in the spirit, more and more and more. Because, hey, honestly speaking, the flesh is broken down. My flesh don't have no more fight in me. Honestly speaking, I don't have no more fight in this place. As far as this world, I wake up in the morning, sometimes I can't decipher what day it is. I be at work, I'm like on autopilot, man. Sometimes I go down a one-way street because my mind is just not with this shit no more. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, what am I doing? You know, some of the simplest things that was once comprehensible is like fucking French to me now. It's like, okay, I'm looking at a map on where to go down these streets, and it was like I was scratching my head. I felt dumb. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, come on, Mahalaya, you smarter than this. Get your head in the game. But that's because my flesh is totally drained. Okay? Nothing has worked for us in this kingdom, but my spirit is willing to fight and continue to fight. You know, because, hey, now you just got to let the Lord take over, man. Shit, we dead. We just getting drugged through the dirt now, you know? Because honestly speaking, I don't have no more fight when it comes to this flesh and this world enemy. I've given up on children. I've given up on careers, so to speak. You know, bills, women. I gave up on. I have nothing left. Okay, ambitious of this world. I don't have anything left, man. If it's not this truth, I don't have it. You know, I just don't have it. You know, so if a worldly woman is thinking about getting with me and thinking that I'm gonna give her the shoe or give her the glass slipper, I'm the wrong guy to look at, man. I don't have that fight in me no more. I'm about the spirit of the Lord and the Lord only. If it's not around this truth or revolving around this truth, then I'm not the guy for you. Just that simple. It says, love not the world nor the things that are in the world. For if any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. That's right, man. Okay, because all this thing, the world, it convulses in the flesh, man. It's all fleshly deeds. Okay, no balance of the spirit. Because these people in this world, they're not operating in the spirit. They operate in their own lust. They operate in their own mindset. Okay, because they think too highly of themselves, man, to even take the low. All right. But it says, for all that is in the world, it says the lust of the flesh and the lust of the eyes and the pride of life is not of the Father, but of this world. Okay. That's why I say that certain things you got to cut off, man. Now, that's not to say that we don't have a good time. We don't work. We don't bring in income. We don't take care of our families. Yes, we do. But overall, if you're looking for us to give you a worldly lifestyle, you know, take you to Cancun once a month, shit. Oh, well, we got to go here nah. Sorry, baby. I love to, but nah, I ain't got it, man. You know, it's too much. It's too much stress. Too much of a burden in this place, man. You know. Then you got finances. You got bills. You got insurance. Insurance is going up, man. I got an insurance quote yesterday. My insurance went up. I'm like, how in the fuck did that even happen? Then again, you know, hey, it is what it is. More stress. So it's just like, all right, well, next kingdom, you know. But anyway, brothers, with that, I'm going to end it there, giving all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. And with that, Shalom and a Baba Ball.